Aloha e amakuakai. If I said that right, it's how is your higher self doing? Man, what to say, what to share. So I find myself in peace, loving wisdom and joy. And I just want to really speak on light and I guess give a message on higher awareness. Higher awareness, just coming from a state of higher awareness, what this means, and the integration. I think the importance of having a higher dimensional awareness is, I think this is something that should be normalized. That should be not prophetic or woo woo, in our simple, the layman's terms. Personally, I feel as if having a higher dimensional awareness, which I'll cover momentarily, is really something essential to the human nature, to our human development, and to our progression, to our progress scientifically, our progress in almost every area, truly, scientifically, psychologically, technologically. I think it's an integration. I think it's something that is essential to the human nature. Personally, as I've gone through my own transformation and through my own development, and realizing that there are higher aspects of awareness and that there are other dimensions and higher awareness fields and subjects, I feel it's necessary to share this. I find the first obstacle to be the approach to other people, to express the subject of what dimensions are, approaching the subject of awareness, of consciousness, and spirituality. I feel many people have resistance with these terms. I see it, I encounter it in my everyday conversations. From my studies, this should not be, how do I put it? This should not be controversial. This should be factual and common knowledge. This should be cultural awareness. Just like we are taught math, and math is universal, and whether you are Chinese or Russian or American, we can all communicate in the language of numbers. Likewise should be the concept of evolution, consciousness, and perhaps what we to this day term and label spirituality. These are terms that perhaps one day were bridged as one, and in our native cultures, from what we can see and study, they did not let go of this. We advanced alongside with it. The spirit realm, perhaps, if we want to call it that, if we want to call it non-physicality, the metaphysical, should have a place in our awareness, in our everyday construct. Now, we are approaching this. I would say maybe psychology is the closest that we're approaching this, but even that, just a few decades ago, psychology was seen as something only for a select few, or it was crazy. To this day, it's reaching the collective. It's mindfulness is slowly becoming a part of our culture, of our work environments, of our everyday life. Every a household mom practices yoga. Corporate tech jobs are being influenced and taught about the power of mindfulness, the power of breathing, thinking positively, of self-resistance. So, this is something that it's reaching what I would term the masses, or the collective, which is really us. The collective isn't separate. I am the collective. I am a part of you. I one day was a part of the unaware mass. I did not know what these terms stood for. I didn't know anything about dimensions. I didn't care. It didn't even cross my mind. Today, I am here as an advocate, as an ambassador, um, as a spokesman, as a well-informed individual on these subjects. So I am trying to communicate this from the most level of reason, logic, certainty, coherence, to integrate this, to approach this, to not only study it for ourselves, but to teach our children this. What are higher dimensions? What dimension do we live in? It takes a little bit of understanding. Yes, I mean, we all remember algebra and 3 dimensions, volume, etc. Okay, well, we are a part of this. We are also beings in dimensionality. And then you get really high up there, and then it gets really confusing and complicated to the point where we don't even understand it or want to look at it. This is essential, in my opinion. If there are higher dimensions that are coexisting in our reality, then what are we subject to? Then does this make us higher dimensional beings? Are there other higher dimensional awarenesses? And if so, how does that tie into our dimension? Can we transcend it? Are there beings in higher dimensions? If so, do they have any influence or contact with us? I think this is essential to human development, to where our race is going. And I am not the only one who thinks this, who says this. I am trying to say this logically, rationally, and perhaps not as a crazy person as many times we've heard. We've labeled anyone who talks about these subjects as crazy. I think there's more to it, and there will be more to it. And as the individual speaking, there is fear and there is doubt to speak on these subjects. However, there's also a lot of certainty, and there's a lot of truth. And when I say this, I really feel for the human race, for my people. And if I were in your position, not having a clue what this stuff was, not believing, or having perhaps my own judgment, I would want someone to tell me. I would want someone to say exactly what I'm saying to you right now, and perhaps talk some reason to me. That's essentially what I'm trying to do here. I believe that once perhaps we overcome the objective of rationality and follow perhaps our intuition or even logic, if our science evolves to the speed to where it can catch us up and prove to us that, hey, yes, there is something here, and I think we're very close to that. I think we can advance far beyond what we can imagine. I think there is so much untapped potential there in the psychology field, in the technology field, in the research field. There is so much that we can do once we overcome our own collective doubt, our own uncertainty. There's so much. And have we done this before? Probably. Are there forces keeping us from learning this information? Who knows? If so, then why? Why would anyone try to prevent human development? We're a beautiful race. We have so much potential, and we can do so many things. We have much work to do. We will gather, and we will rejoice. We will overcome the current adversity of what we're dealing with, all these global issues. We've done it before. It's part of it. I mean, we're an evolving species, and once we start seeing ourselves as that, once we really see ourselves as one, as a species, as a race, as one race, this would just it'll click for us, and we'll say, aha, I get it now. There's so much work to be done personally in for our planet, with each other, in the science field, with technology, with our relationship to each and every subject that there exists, politics, government. I mean, we're a mess, but also we're we're a pearl, we're a gem, and to speak of this is to speak of oneself. As you progress, as you evolve, there's much more to this. And spirituality isn't just about spirituality. Spirituality becomes a part, it's essential to the human nature. We begin to integrate it. So for everyone, for all of those of you who are on the spiritual path and are fully on it, in it, great, I get it. But it's, if you can come back to reality, if you can come back to planet Earth, we need you here. There's so much work to do. And, yes, while it's great to be X or Y in the spiritual community, also you could be spiritual and be a lawyer, be an architect. There is so much work we can do. Like, I don't know, I see it, and this is why I'm sharing this, because I love all of you, and I think that's what this is all about. This is what change is, and it starts with you, it starts with me. It's literally an individual change. You change yourself and the outside world changes. Like, all these things are cliche and rhetorical for a reason. I love you all. Thank you so much for listening. Mahalo.